Very early in the morning, the chief priests, with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. So they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?" But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed.
I work hard for power. I play the game well. I do all the necessary bidding. Compromise here, compromise there. Hoping for a greater good for myself on the other side. I earn my power. Jesus didn't seem to agree with me. That day that he stood before me, well, in the beginning I just pitied him, but he was quiet and unassuming. It began to be quite unsettling to be around. He challenged my power like no one had ever challenged it before. And certainly nobody in his position whose life was in my hands. He looked me right in the face and he said, "You wouldn't have any authority over me if it hadn't been given you from above." The crowd brought this laundry list of crimes against him. I demanded to know the charges if they were true. The guards jeered for the fun of it, and there he stood. The whole world against him. And somehow he felt no need to answer any of us. And that's when I knew this is what they're afraid of. This is what they are willing to turn the whole city upside down for. I saw the pool of blood at his feet. His eye was completely swelled shut. There's a cut in his lip right here. I don't know what I believe, but I know one thing is true. There's not enough water in the world to wash my hands clean of what I did.
The cross. A device rather simple in design and concept. Two pieces of wood joined together at a T, yet a symbol of suffering and death, shame and public humiliation, sorrow, agony. What we might forget is that the cross would have immense physical weight, difficult for a man to carry in any circumstance. Those who were accused and found guilty were to carry their cross all the way to the place of death. By the time Jesus was left to bear his cross, he had already been struck, beaten, whipped, and spat on. He was likely already very weak and worn, in great pain, and in no condition to carry the tremendous burden. In this most troubling and painful time, Christ endured. He endured an undeserved punishment, mocked, beaten, and bruised, forced to carry the weight, not only of the wood itself, but the weight of the sins of the world on his shoulders. When Jesus could no longer bear the weight of the cross, the soldiers found a man passing by from the countryside, named Simon of Cyrene, who was compelled to walk behind Jesus and carry his cross. We don't know why Simon was chosen for this, but in that moment, Jesus accepted the help of another to take up the cross and carry it on his behalf.
A large number of people followed him, including women who mourned and wailed for him. Jesus turned and said to them, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep for yourselves and for your children." Jesus was thinking of others before himself, even in his darkest hour. He himself had wept, not for his own suffering, but for the suffering that would later come to the people of Jerusalem.
You've had the feeling. You realize something, but it's too late. And as much as you want to step back into time, you can only turn around and look at it. Wish for another chance, but you don't get it. I've got a pocket full of those kinds of feelings. I stood at the foot of the cross that day, a shell of a man, a heart hardened to emotion, to death, to gore. I was the one that nailed him to it, just like I had dozens of thieves, rebels, and murderers who came before him. But this man, he did things. He said things. Life didn't seep out. He seemed to be the one who decided when to let go. Has someone ever told you they forgive you and you kind of bow up like, I don't need forgiveness? But you know there's something not right, and then you go one of two ways. You get angrier thinking about it, or This man, Jesus, he said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." And he looked right at me. Then it hit like a biting wind. I break people. I break their bones, I nail their hands and their feet, I stab them in their side. Why do you need forgiving when you're just doing your job and you're just doing it right? And I am the one who needs to be forgiven. I looked up at him and I knew. He is the Son of God.